Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Tuesday, October the 11th, and this is the ASX here, obviously, but I want to start with the US markets, and they were closed last night, but the futures markets were running. So I just want to bring across the S&P here. So yesterday we were looking for a wave 4 to come up, so we got that quite nicely and down for wave 5, and from here we're pretty much looking at an ABC correction from this point. Now I've just got one sort of little glitch in this situation because if I bring across from here, I've got 1 and 2 I've counted, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, the fourth wave that we're looking for, and then the nice little 5 waves here. So in this case, it looks like we could go for the ABC and the 50-60% retracement levels up here. I just better double check that because that was an estimate from yesterday. Close enough anyway. So we'll talk about that later. But the thing is when I look at the SPX, or I don't have the SPX on this particular platform, but I do have the SPY here, which kind of is in sync with that to a point. And in this case, we can look at this as not quite finished down here, as the 1 and the 2 here, and then 1 2 1 2, and then 1 2 3 4 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and there's a little 5 waves in here for 3 and 4, and then 1 2 3 4 5 here. So in this case, this wave 4 could pull back to this wave 4. Now look, it may just drop straight from here. There is a case for having 5 waves up there, so we could get the situation when this opens, of course, to have that this situation here, and then have this ABC pattern, and I'm quite confident once we have that, well, then we're down at that point. Okay, so we've got, this needs to finish. This one over here appears to be finished, so yeah, a bit Arthur Martha on this situation, but I can eliminate the other count of this being a B wave down here now and going much higher, which is good. So situation remains to short this market. We still need this wave 2. We don't have that. We were looking for 5 waves down, and it's been developed. You know, we were looking for the turn. We get the turn. We start counting down. Everything's cool. The holiday, the SPY and the futures not quite sort of matching up with the counts. Bit of a spanner in the works. Doesn't matter too much. A little bit of patience, and we can have this this ABC over here, and then we'll look to short. Now this is going to be the same with the Australian market as well. But the Australian market is a little bit more like this situation here, where we have the 4, we still need the 5th wave down here, then the ABC, and then we can go down. So on the intraday count for the Australian market, I can understand it on a basis like this here, but in the bigger picture, I'm a little bit lost on it. So first of all, let's just go to, this is the ASX here. So from here, it's pretty clean to me. We've got 1 2 3 4 5 here for 1, and then we've got 2, and then if you got a keen eye, you got 1 2 3 4 5 for 1, and then here an ABC for 2. There's 5 waves. There's 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 in here for the third, the fourth, and there'll be 5 in here. So there'll be 1 and 2, and the drop here 3 4 5. So we were looking for it yesterday. Didn't quite get it, but we were looking for it. We're looking for the bounce off here, so there's no need to go short. Then we're looking for the wave 4 here. So yeah, I mean, of course this could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. I've got the C wave here. We can just go up from that point. Yeah, so I still need, you know, to get this. We basically need this to finish off. This is the 38 from that wave 2 top to this wave 3 low here. This is 38.2%. So we're basically there now with it. You know, we still need this situation here. I don't think that I've counted it wrong. It all looks pretty well. It looks okay. And yeah, I mean, I think think it's the best sort of count. So we'll just be a little bit patient, because we want the US market and this market to tune in on an intraday level to get this ABC pattern here. And then basically, if this is the case, then we'd be looking for the ABC pattern here, and then we'd be looking for a move down at that point. And we'd be looking at it in terms of wave 1 and 2 here, just like the S&P, and then down for wave 3, 4 and 5 here for this, and then that would be a serious low at that point. So if I can take this back to the daily chart for a moment, just put this on 200 so I don't overdo it. Just go back to the daily chart, because as I mentioned yesterday, I'm a little bit lost on the daily chart, because this has got different patterns in here than the other market. But what we're just looking at then was one more little move down here to get wave 1, and then wave 2. This is the S&P path. My thing's not working, must be 10 to 8, yeah. So before, when I was doing the US chart, because of daylight savings, at 10 to 8, the platform would reset, so I'd always get this during the S&P video. But now, because of daylight savings, it's 10 to 9, so it's going to be here, so we'll just have to be a bit patient. So we're looking for this third wave down, fourth wave down, and fifth wave down here. Okay, so I don't know how to count this the best way. So it's a bit of a tricky thing. So if I could look at it in different ways. Well, we can look at that in a moment. But once we get to here, once we get these 5 waves here, that means we should have a corrective move back up to this August high. Yeah, this one here. Then we should have another move back up there, and then down again at that point. So if I take this here, we'll be back up, well, just basically back up here, really. So this is the path of the S&P, basically. So, and then we would come down here for this move, and this move here. I mean, don't worry about the price exactly down here, but this would be the pathway of the US markets. So I think that we'll follow that. It's just that how do we count this properly, because going back over here on all the other markets, it's telling us this is the high here, but this is the high on the XJO here. So I'm thinking that, I'm just sort of shooting, when you have a look at A and Z on the weekly chart, it's like in this massive triangle pattern, and it takes it back to 2007, really. But I was thinking here, if we did take that as the high, could we look at this as an ABC here for an A wave? And then, because as a wave 5 up here, I'm not really getting 5 waves over here. I'd have to use this one here, which makes it a little bit awkward. So I was just thinking of a little putting a wave, a B wave here, and then a C wave here, and then an A, B, C for the D wave, and down for the E wave, and that would leave us 3 waves down at this point for the low here of a larger wave 4. But yeah, I still haven't sort of figured it. But yeah, because with the SP500, we can count down here quite nicely as everything. We can count down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 back here, and going down for wave 5. But we're not getting that here, so I'm a little bit sure how to count this. I mean, I can certainly go into look at the I can go into WXYs and things, but and sort of force it to fit in that particular way. But I kind of like to actually, I need the penny to drop in my head of what it is, and the penny hasn't dropped yet. So I simply don't know at this point. But that all said, what we'll do, if we get if we get that 5 waves down here that we just talked about here, well, then we'll look to short this move down through here. That will be the trade at that point. Then we also need to line this up with with the banks as well. The resources can do something a bit different. While the banks are coming down, basically, the resources can be going up. Okay, so looking, you know, I just don't really have enough time to in the day to look at everything to find trades for lots of markets, really. Yeah, it's just a little bit annoying. The new website should help a little bit. I might be able to put trades into that a bit. Let's move along here a bit. Now the platform's still resetting. It takes a good sort of 7 minutes or something. So we'll just sort of wait for that. But while we're waiting for this, I did want to ask, we're building the new website, and it's basically, we've pretty much got it finished. We just got a bit more little work to do on it, and it will have a place for to be able to access charts better in there, and it'll have a little social module in there, and everything's pretty much the same. And then we have to migrate everybody across to that particular website. But once that website's finished, we'll migrate across to it, and then I've engaged a company in Sydney to help with. I really want to rebuild the TradingLounge again, but I want to build it around. I don't know if you remember the old CFD accounting program that we had, Profit Keeper. You know, I got it built, but it just never functioned properly. You know, it just didn't sort of work. But I really liked it. You know, and I like CFDs. You know, and so what I'm going to do is employ some. Well, not employ. We've been offered some help on the UI and UX design of the whole app again, and our whole website. So I'm going to take that up, and we're going to build TradingLounge around the Profit Keeper platform, and I'll also put a stock portfolio in there as well, and then we can start doing trades again and get back on track with that. But I want to talk about that a little bit more, because we're going to need about a dozen people to talk to the designers that will be doing all the UI and UX, which is pretty much the mood and the look and the feel and how things sort of function. And so the designers want to talk to some regular folks, traders that use the website, and ask them what they would want on the website. And yeah, so we're looking for, and that will happen in about mid-January, that conversation. So if you're up for a conversation of talking to some designers, I'm looking for about a dozen people. That would be fantastic, but I'll talk more about that later. But just email me if you like. Okay, so the platform's back and running. So I won't go to CBA today. What I do want to do is just have a look at some of the other banks and look at some of the things that are actually going up. So this is Woodside here. You can see that, I'll just point it out quickly. It's got wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4, and it's going to have wave 5 here, and then it's going to have an ABC pattern here, and then it's going to go up again. That's what it looks like. So what we can do is, no point in buying it here. It's just going to go to here and come back again. So we'll look to get it across here. That was one of the better energy stocks that I was looking at. This is CAR. This is another one here. I really like this as well, this pattern here, and it looks like it wants to go Karoon rather. And BPT is lagging a little bit. It's got a lot of headwind in front of it here, but it's also got an impulse wave here. So we'll see how that pulls back. Org, same thing again as well. Not quite happy with this finishing off here. Doesn't sort of do it for me. Santos, we can take a look at that. Not really. I've got some of this myself, but I don't have a really good pattern. But if it sits on the 8 here, we'll look at that. You know, we'll look for a classic trading levels pattern, because they can fail when they get here. You know, so we do need that solid setup sitting on top there. So we'll look for that and try to include that ABC pattern in that. But so I just want to have a look at those couple of energy stocks there today. So that's done. But I just wanted to go to the banks. Where's my banks here? So the ones that I wanted to look at was these two here. So first of all, NAB. So with NAB here, what I wanted to point out is that NAB has held up quite nicely, really, when you go back, and I mean, I hadn't viewed it for a while, but it's got this nice trend to the upside. You know, it's in a bullish trend, isn't it? You know, but the thing that I noticed with it as well is that we don't have 5 waves down here, we have 3 waves down here, so it's corrective. But I can also see here too that this is actually wave 1 and 2 in here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the, that's all of the 3rd wave, that's the 4th, and that's the 5th. So we've got an impulse wave here. Look, this looks corrective to me. We could probably put it as an impulse wave in terms of 1, 2, 3, ABC for 4 and down for 5, but there's overlapping wave structures there, so it's better off as a corrective pattern. And based on that 5 waves here and this little sort of move up here, it's kind of looking a little bit sort of chirpy to go further up. So what we could do here is look for, it's been, you know, at the $30 mark here, it's been attacked a bit, and it's not sitting on there as support just yet, but I think we could keep an eye on that. There may be a bit of a long trade there, because what I also wanted to mention with the Australian market, if come back here a bit, just sorry to bounce around a bit, you know, when this 5 waves finishes down here, and we can look at that on the US market. Did I move that? Did I? So this is the US market. I just want to talk about this 5 waves down here just a little bit more, because we need to, I think I had it on 50k ticks, just overkill there on that side of it. But what I wanted to sort of point out here, let's just assume for a moment that I'm right here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the S&P. So we'll come down to maybe 34 or something, or something, whatever. But that doesn't interest me. After this 5 waves here, we're going to come back in 3 waves over here for this, for a retest of this. I don't know, you know, it might be lower, might be more, but this move to the upside here, because our banks are set up, if I can just come across here again, so while this is finishing off here, and it won't take many days, do you know what I mean? So when we look at the NAB here, for example, if the NAB fluffs around and eventually gets support on 30 here, because of this corrective pattern, we could be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might be part of a bigger correction in terms of an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here, and then we come down in line with the US markets and then up. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But we could end up with a 5 wave structure here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that move to the upside would be this move here. And then because this would come down into a 3rd wave at that point. You with me? So I think that if the indices are going to go up, then our banks are going to go up. So that's NAB. I think Ben was, I mean, this is a bit of a bit dangerous buying down here, but you can see that we've got that nice little impulse wave here, and I haven't counted that, but I could probably get 5 waves out of it, but we'll just keep a bit of an eye on it. And the other thing here too is that, I mean, it's obviously overstretched and everything, so we could get a nice bounce off that. So yeah, Bendigo Bank and the NAB could be 2 banks that that could see a move higher. Now they can be corrective, you know, but we should get, you know, some sort of move up on those. So I just wanted to point that out, and that was that, and that's that. So iron ore. I'm thinking that with iron ore, they came back yesterday, and they came back on a positive note, up sort of close to 3% for iron ore. But more importantly, they just nipped out the top there for this. So I'm thinking that, you know, when I look at this here, I know this move up here doesn't count as an impulse wave, so we've probably got it as, in the bigger picture here, as the A wave here, and then an A, and then we've got 3 waves here for the B wave, and then going up for the C wave here. The worst situation that could happen with this, and which we need to be mindful of, is taking either one of these highs here, taking that down to the low here, and we just come back up as an ABC correction to this level here. And then we go down again at that point. But either way, we either go to here, or we're going to go further up here and to have the B wave up here somewhere, having 5 waves up. Because I think this is the 50-60% retracement level area up here, so it can fail at this point. But we should be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. That's what I'm thinking. And also too, because I can count 5 waves from this low, 1, 2, or I'll have to go to the intraday, but 5 waves, and then we've got this A, B, and C correction here. So this appears to be in 3 waves as corrective, so we should take out that top here. So there's a few things here telling me that that iron ore and things are going to be going up. So yeah, while the banks are going down, the resources could be moving to the upside in that short period of time. So yeah, so while the S&P is doing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, when the banks will be doing that as well, the resources can be doing a little bit of a move to the upside here. Okay, so we come to BHP here. With BHP, I'll just come back to BHP for a moment, and I'll come back to Fortescue, which we looked at yesterday. I'm really thinking that that Rio here has kind of finished its little pattern here. Now, I could certainly be wrong, and it's hard to go bullish in a recession, so to speak. But the A wave here, the B wave over here, and then an A and a B and a C for 2 here on the weekly chart, and down for 3, 4, and 5 here for the C of 2, or we could look at it as wave 4 as an alternative in the big thing, but still a low going in. But it's not so much the count that I like. The count fits, and there is probably other counts that could also be bearish. But what I like about this particular pattern, though, just from experience, is you can see how sharp the wave A is, and then how lazy the wave C is. To me, that's always a perfect setup in any degree of structure. It's just that when you see the lazy C wave, it's like it doesn't want to go down. And because it doesn't want to go down, we've also got Fortescue's here that doesn't want to go down either, you know. I could look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in here for this, and put this in here as the C wave. You could probably also look at this as sort of up for wave 1 here really as well, but and use this as a B wave over here, by the way, as an A and a B and a C down here for this, and up for 1 and back for 2, and just doing time while the others are doing time doing this here. So look, I think iron ore could push up. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think it might be worthwhile just us focusing in on it a little bit and see how we can go. So first of all, we need to see some nice volume come into these markets. That's one thing. So Fortescue here on the daily chart. Look, they might not go very far. They sort of could roll over, but they're just sort of giving me the sort of feeling that they're ready to go. That's all, and I can sort of count them that way. So this is Fortescue here, but I've still got this as a bearish count, which is a healthy thing to do. So it is possible that we can get 5 waves up here, as I talked about yesterday, and then come over. So if I'm going to go long, I want to know what the bearish count is. I want to know what I'm up against, you know. So well, I can see here that I don't need to go in here, but I can see we've got 1 and 2 here and 3 and 4 here, and then wave 5 up here. So let's make the 5 waves go, because this could be the A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to here, somewhere up here, right? The 18, it'll stick around the 18 here. So let's just allow that to go up from that point, and then we can look at being long above that particular high here once that comes in, once we've got that 5 waves come in at that point. So that's how we can tackle that. We'll get that way, we'll get past that corrective move here. So we'll need to go to the intraday and check on that at that point. So that's FMG and Rio over here. So this is the weekly chart for Rio. I mean, there's a couple of things here. I mean, obviously the 100, that's, you know, that's the line in the sand, so to speak. So what we could do here is we could wait for it to get support, try to find some sort of classic trading levels pattern around it. That's the $100 mark here. So we wait for this, and this, and get it over here. Or we could get a little bit below the level as well. So if we go to the daily chart and just check on this, see where this is up to. So this has got much the same sort of thing here. I've got this here labeled now as the A wave, a B wave, and 1, and then an A and a B because it's in 3 waves, and C wave here because it's in 5 waves, so 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third, the fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is overlap here, so that's a bit of a dangerous thing. So to get past that dangerous thing, again, you can see, maybe you can see, maybe you can't, but you can see that this is corrective here, right? So you can see there's probably a 1 and 2 in here, and this is probably a 3rd wave and a 4th wave in here. So we're going to look at this as the arrival, the reaction, and the first high above the level needs to come into play. Now, it may not be the case. We may only come to here and then have another reaction, so then that'll be the 4th of the 4th or something of that nature. But what we're looking for here at the end of the day, whatever happens, we want that first high above the level, and then we want the market to come back on that, and then we can start looking at getting in over here for this. How far that takes us in the bigger picture? Do we just end up having an ABC back up, you know, yonder over here for these sorts of things, and then come down again? That's the risk. You know, in the bigger picture, this all could be viewed down here as I don't want to freak anyone out, but it could also be viewed as wave 1 here and coming back for wave 2 over here. There is a bigger picture for in the metals and mining ETF in the US that I'm looking at that's kind of got this particular pattern here. So I'm not saying that it's going to, you know, take out the tops and everything's going to be rosy, because that's probably not the case. But yeah, we'll see what this, I'll leave that wave 2 there and this wave 1 here, just so we are aware of the situation. But with iron ore pushing up, there is some little, because there's not much to trade around the place really. So yeah, and people like trading long. So this we might get one leg out of here. And you know, if this is a wave 2 here, well then the C wave is going to be a little bit lazier than the A wave, so we'll know. But if it's just as sharp, then we'll know we're on the right track. So we'll have to edge our way forward with all of that, you know, and we'll just put in that 50-60% retracement level over here as well. So that's up here. So we know what we're looking at. So we should be able to go from, you know, 100 to 110 or something at this stage. A nice little CFD trade or something. Okay, so that's all of those guys. I'm just going to put these back into position here and then close them out. And I won't talk about BHP because I want to talk about lithium. It'd be the same thing with BHP. We have to do that sort of thing. Okay, US spot gold. So with the US spot gold, I'm looking at this being a wave 4 to the upside. So I still am considering this the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up here for wave 4, and then down for wave 5. Is it possible to put wave 4 in over here on this one? Because this would be 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, and ABC for the fourth at 38.2%, coming back to the wave 4, 1 lesser degree, and then coming down here. Can we put wave 4 here? Yes, we could, because we do have this counted up as a corrective wave, but I only have 3 waves down. I don't have 5 waves down. So it's possible and plausible, but not probable at this stage. So we'll just leave that for a moment, and I think we'll just go into, I just want to go through that now that I've mentioned that, you know, so I'll just go into the, so this, the gold stocks will be going through this as well, you know, so in the bigger picture here, we're looking at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know there's overlap there, but big numbers can cause that to occur. And then down for wave 3 here. So we're looking at this here. I've got this as an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 5 waves up to this point here. So because I was thinking it could be a 1, 2, 3 and back for 4 here. Then going up, that could be possible. So we had 2, we're running 2 counts, but it just didn't happen. So this market's come back from the A wave, from this low to high. The 50-60% is here. The closest largest number is 1650, so it could push down into that. I haven't had time this morning to count all of that, but that would be another little 1 and 2 in here, so you need to pull that apart. I don't know if it's finished just yet, but we'll just keep an eye on it. I mean, if the 1650 becomes the retested resistance, then we need to bring this wave 4 in over here, but otherwise we'll be looking for something like this to occur in that space. So if you can kind of understand that, that's where the gold market is. Okay, so we still need to clarify this being a B wave. You know, we've got to kind of secure each count, but that's where that is, and that's pretty much where your other markets are going to be as well. So we can look at, well, we can put that in here now as wave 5, and this will be wave A here. So we're coming back for wave B here, and everything going according to plan. We'll see B wave, and then we'll see C wave, and then we'll see wave 5 here. That's what I'm thinking. That'd be pretty much about right. So yeah, unfortunately we just didn't keep rolling down the hill here, unfortunately. Okay, so I've got to move along. Okay, before we go to the US dollar, we're just going to have a quick look at the lithium stocks. So scroll down. I mean, yeah, so I won't look at the lithium ETF at the moment, but where are we here? These are some other stocks that I was just bringing in. Uranium. Okay, so we've got this one. This is the US one here. And yeah, so look, you know, I've been waiting for this 5 wave. So that's 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're getting there. We don't really have the B wave back up here just yet for this. So this is pretty much the standard count. It's lagging a little bit in terms of what it's doing. This one here, another US stock. Look, you could go long here, but it's, you know, we need the classic trading levels. We've got the arrival, the reaction. So if you get involved in, you know, when you've got a large number like this, if you get involved in, you know, the best thing to do is to trade to the large number, get out, and then just wait for it to set up, and always ask yourself, do we have support on this number yet? And no, we don't. And you don't know really what the pattern is going to be until it matures, you know, but most of the time when it's going to be bullish, we'll be looking for this. So we've got the arrival, we've got the reaction, we still need that, and we still need that. We can buy here and we can buy here, you know, we can risk less here but get better price and yada yada yada, but we're not there yet, you know. We're not. I wouldn't buy here. I'd buy over here. That's the thing, and then I'd build in over here. The more confident I get in seeing impulse waves here, the more that we can build in. But we're just not there yet. This is a ASX one here. So this one here is looking a little bit more chirpy. Let me just have a look at where the risk is on this to the downside here, because that's that Okay, well, it's right at the 61.8%. The trouble with this here is it doesn't really give us a nice, from the top here, whichever it looks like this one's the top, doesn't really give us a nice, it gives us like 5 waves down. So it's at the 61.8%. So you would need, if you bought that, you'd have to keep the stop below that. We could easily come down here for another little move here first before going up. Right, so kind of not ready really, but buying it at the $80 mark is good if you've got it there. Okay, CXO, so it's just still doing its bounce off the $1 mark here for this. The sellers are in control on that last bar here, but this is corrective. It's on low, these two bars are on lower volume, so that's so this can be impulsive on increasing volume and then no volume in here. So it can be a bit bullish, but we'll just see. Let's see. I mean, we've got to go with the consensus of all the markets, and this to me, this stock here, thus far is the main consensus count here. This is the most sort of balanced. There's some that are more erratic and some that are more bullish, but this is kind of right in the center of all the counts really, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 coming down for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. So I think that if we keep our eye on this one, then and look to buy once we can confirm some sort of impulse wave moving up here, then we could pretty much buy everything else at that point. That's the go. There are some that are continuing to cruise up, like this one here. It's kind of, it's parabolic, it's a bit erratic and all the rest of it, but it's, as I mentioned, it needs to, look, it still could have one more high here. I don't know if that's 1 and 2 and 3, or we got 3, 4 in, I don't know, but, in terms of the patterns, we've got the arrival, the reaction, we're in the first high area. So you'd never buy here, never, ever. I mean, sometimes we're looking for that first high and then the rollback at that point, So, whoops, daisy. So this, it could go up further, but it hasn't worked its way across here. I mean, this is a fantastic lesson for stock traders. You trade to the number, get out, and use your money somewhere else, and it can take months, weeks, years, even whatever, to get across to the other side here on some stocks, but that's what you're looking at. And if you do that, most of the time you're going to come out smelling like roses at the end of the year. If you start trading in here, buying and selling and, changing your nappies in here, well then you're going to be crying over spilt milk for sure, because you make it in the trend and you give it back in the correction. So you've got to understand how it works a bit. AKE here, all good here. So now we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, a little bit dodgy, but no, it's all right. Yeah, and then we got we were looking for a B wave and then a C wave here. So we're not there. We want the A, the B, and the C wave. So we're not there yet. IGO was cranking to the upside. So that's it's sitting on top of this level here, but it's also on low volume, which is good because that's corrective. So that can push up from that point. I still haven't put many work into this, apologies about that, but like if you're going to buy anything, this would be the one, and also Min as well. Here, as I mentioned yesterday, this has got 3 waves here. This is also 3 waves here, but if it turns into 5 waves, it'll give us another high, and then we can come back over here and get it. So that's that on that front. I'm just going to have a look at the 2-year yields here. So we're calling this in as a top here. I don't know if it is. It might end up going higher. Let's just have I think the 10-year yields on the US are still going up. Let me just check on that for a moment. Yeah, so the top for the wave 3, 5 of 3 for this market is not in yet. And there could also be another one here too, but probably that it normally works out as the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. That should probably do it at that point, and then we'll come down for wave 4. So maybe we're just ahead of the curve a little bit on ours. But okay, over to the US dollar. So, as you know, I've been sort of flip-flopping around on this. I know that's a little bit annoying. As I mentioned yesterday, that the count that I've had down here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is a bit flimsy because the wave 4 overlaps this. So I kind of got to go with an ABC pattern here. And we'll just see though, but because at the end of the day, I know that this top here and this low over here for this, the 61.8% is where it is now. So it can fail here. But what I was sort of thinking is that, well, if it finds a classic trading levels pattern on this level here, then we can go more bullish at that point for that, you know. So the question is that, well, there's two questions here. How does this count to the upside? It's starting to look like wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then I've got to count 5 waves in this move here now. So I'm just going to wait a little bit to the market to sort of reopen a little bit. But at the moment, is that 300 a nice tested support? Yet? No, it's not. So that's what we'll need to confirm that. And there's no rush anyway, because we want to see that this first top and we want to see some sort of this trend here be corrected in some sort of ABC pattern here. So it'll be very close, because it's also, you know, it's pretty much the mirror opposite of this situation here, because we've got this wave 1 coming down here, and as I mentioned on the SPX here, the SPY here, we've still got one more little fluffing around to do here, possibly. So we don't have that wave 1 secure just yet. So we could have it here, but it's not there on the SPY. So I don't have it yet here in the inverse as well, just yet. So it'll get there. Once the pullback happens here, and on the SPY, once this pullback happens, then we'll know where we are with this. So these should be, you know, the dollar will be, you know, this dollar will be the inverse to, well, lots of markets, the bond market, this market, the Australian dollar, the CAD. There's so many markets that, you know, are inflicted by this market that you can use them to try to sort of glean your counts from, you know, compare them to see if they're right or wrong. So does that mean the Australian market will be doing the opposite to this and in line with the S&P? Should the Australian market be, the Aussie, be in line like this? Should it be down for 1, back for 2, and then down for 3 here? And do we have that low in place here just yet? So I'm not quite sure if we got this low in place just yet, but down for 1, ABC back for 2. So when we get this ABC happening, there may be another low down here. I'm not quite sure, based on the SPY and a few things, and I haven't really pulled this apart a lot here, so this could be counted a little bit differently. I could push this to here, I could push that to here, I can push this over here, this to here, I can look at that here, I can look at this as a wave 4 here, I can and still have that sort of work with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third. So I'm not quite sure yet, but it doesn't really matter. We'll pick it up. We'll eventually get this A wave, B wave, and C wave here, and then we can find ways to look to short this over here, back up around the supply levels 84 and below in this space, to come down for wave 3, 4 and 5, of course, coming down here lower for having a low in place. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.